What's going on, y'all, and welcome on in. Today let's talk about the custom group banner that's finally here. So we've had group banners before, guys. I think we had one in the past that was for 3 limited heroes, and this time there's gonna be a wider selection. I've been telling y'all to watch out for it. There are some caveats or some warnings I want to tell y'all about, so that's what this video is going to be about. First, I'll probably take us through talking about which ones I would suggest. Ignore what I have here, guys. This is just personal preference. I'm mainly just summoning for Ran, and if I pick up any Fairy Tale for Nightmares or Merciless Glens on the way, that's kind of what they're there for. I'm going to go for buying this with coins if I don't get him in the 1 in 3 chance that, you know, a 5-star pops up, or whatever the chances are. But yeah, this is not really anything focused. I'll guide you guys on what I think my best picks are, as well as things to watch out for, because there are some banners upcoming that means you don't need to pull from here. There are selectives that maybe if you're newer, you're not aware of, as well as, don't forget, guys, the hunt event where we get a hero, 1 of 3 heroes coming up very, very soon. I believe that's going to happen next week because it's not here yet, alongside all those like 100+ Molagor or whatever it is. Okay, so with that being said, let's get on with the video. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and quickly, just very briefly, go over the coin shop details. So unlike the normal Covenant banners, you don't get the hero at 120 pity summons. Instead, you get coins every single time. So the nice thing is, if you get super lucky and you get a lot of these heroes along the way to 120 coins, then you can pinpoint and pick anything in here, including artifacts, which I'll outline some of my suggested ones if you want to fish for those as well. Take note that these are also considering choosing one of your selectors for. But there is one other thing I want to make notice of just real fast, guys. I saw both in my Discord and on Reddit that if you do get super unlucky, which will happen, please let me know in the comments below, guys, how your summons go. I'm rooting for all y'all, but of course, it's going to happen. Some people will get unlucky. But if you do end up getting super unlucky, make sure if you didn't have like a lot, let's say 360 coins worth, 1800 bookmarks worth, excuse me, that you may be put in a tough spot where you're summoning, and since the hero doesn't come to you at 120 pity like the normal Covenant, that you have, let's say, 100, 200, 300 coins, and you still haven't pulled a hero yet, and you don't want to summon them from the shop yet, because maybe you'll get that extra one along the way, which would be a little bit inefficient, right? Then you could save your bookmarks instead. So that's just one downside to the coin shop system, as well as just, you know, if you don't want all 3, or if you don't want any artifacts, you just want 1 hero, then, you know, you're going to have to go pretty much the whole way, because the likelihood of getting this is lower than on a normal banner. But overall, if you do need multiples and artifacts as well, this is a very nice event to take advantage of. So let's go ahead and talk about the potential units that I would recommend. Alrighty, y'all, I just realized I have to jump over to my buddy's account because I can't check the hero summon or the drop rate target selection anymore. So let's go ahead over here and check them out real fast. Let's just talk about it super quick. First, let's talk with the limiteds. I'll go through them one by one really fast, but I think this is where you guys want to focus most of your attention to, because they are, of course, limited, and these other banners down here are more likely to come around, and you obviously have a chance to pull them just through random summons, random books, whatever it might be. So let's go one by one. Luna, I think, is an amazing pick. She's really good in PvE and PvP. Strong single target. For PvP, though, it's a little more niche. You want to play more aggressive. You want to almost play that cleave kind of style. The bruiser build's not as good, especially in this meta where units like Hua Young and Rimu exist. But the fact that she has some use in PvP is amazing in PvE, and has access to Draco Plate, where this game, Epic 7, is all about warriors at the moment, right, guys? There's so many warriors out that are good, and this is a great selection for almost all of them. You want multiples of these if you don't have any at all, so make sure you look at this. Very strong pick. Bien is an okay pick, guys. She did just get buffed. She still has access to anti-crit, which is very nice for PvP, but for PvE, definitely not really needed. I think all the other soul reavers kind of outshine her because they have built-in heals. You could, of course, put Rod of Amaryllis on, but I don't really see the investment need for there. If you really like her, though, I do think she's still a potential pick for PvP, but other than that, probably on the weaker end of potential, you know, picking her for 1 of your 3 units. Landy, guys, amazing. Still very good. Not the top dog that she used to be maybe a year ago, but still super strong and coming back into RTA quite a bit. For PvE, still amazing there, right? She's still super good there as well. I use her all the time for just all the kinds of modes, expedition, trials, even auto tower, you name it. Good there. The artifact, not so great. It has some uses, so if you pick it up, it can be good. But you're really gonna want to, I'll just jump in line here and talk about this. If you want to pull for Landy, guys, you need to make sure you have Guiding Light. most of the time. I know there's bruiser builds that have like Bloodstone, but go check out my interview I just did with the counter god Jello. He mentioned that even how tanky his is, the Bloodstone build is much harder to run. He said impossible to run now with how aggressive units are out, like Milim, like Hua Young. It's just really hard not to be stealth. So if you do plan to use Landy and RTA, take it from like experienced PvPers. You're really going to want to have access to this guiding light. I know Milim still stops it, but you know, you really want this artifact, of course. Cerise herself is very good for PvE, but definitely got outshined in PvP by units like Para. She got power crept essentially. Still possibly usable there if you don't have access to Para, etc. But this is a decent pick, and Guiding Light goes up definitely big time in value if you want to run units like Landy, or let's say you just pulled like Operator Sigret from your Moonlight tickets, whatever it might be. This is an awesome artifact, definitely one of the best to consider picking up and grabbing with 100 coins, or you just get lucky and pull it itself. Seaside Bologna, still amazing. I really like her, so I might be a little bit biased because I use her all the time in RTA, one of my favorite PvP units, but she is a later pick. She has a ton of hard counters. If you can build her on a bruiser build, especially lifesteal, I think that is her best build by far in this era. And all the reviews I do for new players climbing up to Masters, if y'all just have access to a tankier bruisery lifesteal SSB, maybe not even lifesteal, if it's just tankier and you have access to a healer for sustain, and you pick up a drink, try to max this out though, guys. This is one bad thing about it. It does need to be maxed, because if you don't max it, every time you miss that proc, it's just really bad. But she's an awesome unit that you just pick later. Be careful just getting hard countered. But if you lock her in, she has reach, meaning she can hit, you know, obviously stealth units. And she's just very good in the current meta at the moment, in my opinion. Holiday Euphine, not quite as good, definitely more niche. I mentioned Jello earlier, guys. He had a nice build for her, and he says he really likes her even up in that Emperor Legend area. But for the rest of y'all, I think she's really still just a anti-bizarre unit for the most part. So only consider picking up if you really like her for various reasons. Champion Trophy, also not the best artifact per se. I haven't maxed out one and I haven't used it in over a year, but every now and then you pick up a warrior that you might want to try it on. It is still kind of nice. It has effectiveness and can do a stun. Last but not least, guys, we have Fairy Tale Tinibria, and I picked this just for the artifact alone. I think this artifact is better than the hero, so let's talk about it first. This is amazing on all the mages, especially AoE mages that have come out, guys. Solitaria, Archdemon Mercedes, Arya can all make great use of this, and the fact that it does awesome fixed damage as well as being able to dispel just makes it a one and done for both damage and utility. Awesome artifact. If you have any of those units I just mentioned, remember, you're gonna, especially if you use more than one, you're gonna swap between like Abyssal Crown, this, Violin, or Arya's artifact. So having more of these is obviously great, and this is one of my favorites for those AoE kind of mages. So this is a very strong artifact at the moment. It did get buffed. As for Fairy Tale Tinibria herself, she is maybe some PvE niche usages, but not really known for there. And for PvP, it's a lot harder to run units like this, guys. Full control units. If your name isn't Angel of Light Angelica, it's hard because, especially with like units that just came out, like Destina, who got buffed, being Earth type as well, full cleanse. Queric, everyone has access to now. Mediator Queric, excuse me. Full cleanse, immunity. All this stuff is just very hard for her to get through. Fallen Cecilia, we just talked about Holiday Euphine, who is also good into Fairy Tale Tinibria. She just has a lot of counters. Control is just hard to run. But if you do like her, if you are able to lock her in and your opponent is unprepared, they have to ban it in RTA. Or if they don't ban it and they have no cleanse, she will take over a match by herself. It's just very hard to run her at the moment. Okay, hopefully that helps with the limiteds, guys. So top picks, definitely Luna, Landy, Luna for both her and her artifact, Landy herself, Cerise, mostly for Guiding Light if you want to get Landy. SSB, I think, is a strong pick overall. Just be aware you do need to make her like Bruiser and Lifesteal for PvP purposes. But if you just want to use her for Wyvern mostly in the beginning, still amazing there. And then these two picks, not the greatest, but the Fairy Tale for Nightmare I think is good. Just a recap. Okay, let's move on to the red, green, blue. And sorry, guys, if I'm moving really fast here. If you have any additional questions, of course, leave them in the comments below, or just reach out to me on stream/Discord. I'll try to get answered as many questions as I can. But as for the red, green, blues, guys, just pick your favorite. You have 3, so you can just pick whatever you want. But there are a few caveats, okay? There's a few things I want to mention real fast before I talk about maybe just a few here. There's a few things I want to mention. Let's lead off with this website, E7 Leaks. You know I love this site here. But if you notice, guys, upcoming in 1 week, we have Tama, who, if you heard me mention before, I was recommending y'all to pull for her on this group banner because she is still amazing. But the fact that her, Kayron, and Luluka, just be aware of what's coming out, guys. And you can hold off on selecting if you want to see what's coming out in the future, so you can pick them individually. But Tama is, of course, an amazing unit. Even if you already got through the game with Sawyerverse, she'll always be great for harder content because she does so many units in one. There's no other unit that has this many jam-packed utility, heals, all of it, CR push, offensive capabilities with dual attack, strip, you name it. She does everything, so you definitely want to get her for PvE mostly if you don't. But the fact that she has her own banner coming up, skip her, along with Kayron. So really, overall, guys, the other things to be aware of are upcoming. I mentioned at the start of the video, there's going to be a hunt, like a special hunt event where you get to pick one of 3 heroes: Vivian for Banshee, Sigret for Wyvern, and then I believe the third one was Sermia for Golem. Basically, you get one of those 5 stars for free. Once again, guys, that is, let me find them real fast, Sermia, Sigret, or Vivian, who is, she's somewhere on here, guys. But yeah, Sermia, Vivian, Sigret, skip those, don't put them on there because you'll be able to pick one of those for free if all those details are as Smilegate said. And then last but not least, for info, there is a selector at the end of episode, I believe, guys, correct me if I'm wrong on this, episode 3, because I think we're currently on episode 4. I lose track of the PV stuff, guys, sometimes. Apologies. But it's the second selector. Remember, you start the game, you get the selector, which most people recommend getting Sigrid on. There is that second selector. If you're not there yet, I would highly recommend pushing there before you pick your units, because you have access to units like Flan, Ida, Polydus might be on there as well. I think they excluded units like Ilinov and Senya. Just double check that one, guys. You can see who you have access to there. Maybe Mort is there, but it's this era of heroes, which I believe is episode 3. And yeah, see what you get from that selective first if you're eyeballing one of these units, and then if you miss out or if you get them, then you can safely skip them, etc. So recap, guys, the upcoming hunt event. Make sure you don't pull for Sigret, Vivian, or Sermia, because you'll be able to get one of those for free. Check your selective first for episode 3, because you can potentially get one of these units, who, by the way, guys, all 3 of these are amazing right now for various reasons. Cleave and anti-cleave, and then another cleave unit here. But yeah, all awesome PvP units. Just check the selective first, and then last but not least, make sure you keep track of the upcoming banners, because you can just get these individually and guaranteed get them through pity and use this selective for artifacts or other things. But I don't want to spend too long on this part, guys. Rowana, obviously amazing. Her and her artifact, both great. Rowana, one of the top picks for both PvE and PvP. Crow, super good. I'm just trying to find units that aren't on upcoming banners or in selectors. Iseria, amazing, still super unique skill 2. And Song of Stars, this is a very good one, guys. If you didn't end up picking Iseria, I highly recommend that one. But other than that, I think you're safe to kind of pick whatever you want. Pick 1 or 2 limiteds, and then take your pick from red, green, blue for either their artifact or just their, sorry, I said red, green, blue, but limited, and then one of the non-limited units down here for either them or their artifact. Okay, guys, please reach out to me if you want any extra help. Good lucks on your summons. Let me know how they go, good or bad. And yeah, I got a lot more content coming for y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch y'all in the next one.